What's up, everybody? It's Matt from howtomotorcyclerepair.com. In today's video, we're going to be cleaning the carb on this 06 KX250F. But basically, it has an FCR carb on it, and that's what all these four strokes run. It's the same carburetor, and there might be some jetting differences, the size differences or whatever, but basically they all are the same, and we're going to be cleaning this carburetor, and hopefully that'll help you whether you have any 250F or 450F, and we're going to go through this step by step. However, I am going to take the seat, the tank, the subframe off, and the shock. So we'll be at the carburetor. I'll show you how to take throttle cables off, the hot start off, and pull the carb off the bike, and then we'll begin on the bench. Now, just a few things. This video is only going to be a partial on YouTube. To get the full video, you see the link pop up. Also, there's going to be a worksheet, which is a checklist of items that you should check while you're going through the procedure, just to make sure you don't miss anything, and also where to buy any parts should you need them. This is a good time to jet the bike if you want to, or write down the existing jetting, and just, for future reference. It's always good to know what you have in there. It's not the easiest carb to take off and get in there, so you want to do this as little as possible. It's not like a two-stroke carb where you can pop off in half an hour. Also, this is the bike that I have a top and bottom rebuild on. So if you have this exact bike and you have issues with it, then you definitely want to check that out. I'm also going to be doing another video on fuel screw adjustment, because the first video that I have up on YouTube, the audio got all messed up, and frankly, I think I can do a better job of videotaping that. So again, enjoy this sample. If you want the full video, go in the video description or click on the annotation link. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Let's get started. All right, so we can go ahead and loosen this clamp here. Now, this screw is a Phillips. Normally they are Allen key. I believe this screw was replaced at one point. So just go ahead and loosen that to where you can move it. And we don't have to touch this one at all, but just go ahead and make sure it's tight while we're here. And also note here that there's a little boss on the carb, and it fits in this notch in the boot. And that's what orients the carb to the boot and to the engine for the proper orientation. Alright, next step is to undo this harness here. It's the TPS sensor, throttle position sensor. Alright, so at this point we can pop the carb off. Just go ahead and pop it off just like that. And down here there's this little metal bracket. We can just slightly bend it. Can get all these tubes out of the way. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the hot start plunger, which is over here. It's really hard to get a view on this here. I'm using a 14 mil wrench. I'll give a better shot of this once I get it out. And it's a plastic housing, so you gotta be careful. If yours is in bad condition, I recommend replacing it with a metal one. You can pull the rubber boot off the plastic housing. It'll make it easier to turn and spin. Alright, so there that is. That's what it looks like right here. So that's the 14 mil nut, and here's the plunger. Make sure it's clean. Make sure this O-ring here is in good shape, and just kind of move it out of the way. We're not going to deal with this for now. Okay, now we need to remove the throttle cables, which is located under this plastic cap. So this is 4mm. Might be different on your bike, but take your 10mm wrenches. Go ahead and look at your throttle cables up at the handlebars, and you're going to want to screw these all the way in so we get a bunch of slack near the carburetor. Alright, so hopefully now we have enough to get this out of here, and we do. Threads are packed with dirt, so you're going to want to make sure you clean them. Alright, let's go to the workbench. Before we go to the workbench, what I'm going to do is crack this drain here, and all the fuel is going to drain out so I don't get a mess all over the... Alright guys, so here we are on the workbench. At this point, it'd be a good idea to take some pictures of all these vent hoses and where it goes on these clips here that hold it on. It's just always nice to have a good reference when you're putting something back together, because there's times where you don't know where things go, and that can get frustrating. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is remove this fuel screw, but before we do, alright, so we're back here at the bike. You can go ahead and install it. If you want, you can squirt a little silicone spray in there to make it go in easier. But first, let's go ahead and hook these cables up. Now the throttle wheel goes this way, So you want the pulled cable on this side, okay, on the bottom. So go ahead and grip this, and you're going to want to see. So this one here is the pull. Next with the push cable. Go ahead and tighten these up. These cables aren't in the best shape. Winter project. So we'll take the slack out later. Cover back on. This is the cover that was missing, and that's why that accelerator pump was so rusty. All the water was going down in there. Alright, let's find this hot start plunger. It's pretty hard to see in here, so I'll just go ahead and do it. Don't cross thread the plastic thing, it's really hard, easy to do that. Snug it up with a wrench. It's plastic, so don't go crazy. Alright, we're going to push the carb on. Throttle position sensor. Make sure it clicks. Alright, so right here, when you push the carb into the boot, make sure there's a little boss here that has to nest inside the, see that? It's got a nest right in there. That means it's aligned properly. Alright, go ahead and tighten up your clamp. So, and here's the hot start cable. All right, so at this point, I'm going to put the rest of the bike back together, and then we'll come back for firing it up and tuning it up.